I just put an injury law website on page 1 of Google in just 3 weeks. This is known to be one of the most lucrative, but also therefore one of the most competitive niches in SEO. This was based on my one-page websites method, and it was while recording the course that I decided to be a bit more ambitious. And while it's quite easy to rank for loads of local services and then go out and partner up with a contractor to actually sell those leads, most of us prefer the true passive income of classic affiliate. And one alternative I offer in the course is pay-per-call networks, where they're these brands that have already partnered up with all these different lead buyers around the country, especially in the US, and they'll basically buy every lead you can generate for them. So rather than having to deal with any third parties, you simply sign up with them, send through all the leads and calls, and then you'll get a nice paycheck at the end of the month. We're talking hundreds of dollars per call in some cases. And so whilst recording the one-page websites course, that I wanted to go further. Let's just do law firms, let's target injury law, and we'll see if this method still works in that particular niche. So I registered 15 law domains on the 19th of November, and if we look at this particular example, you can see the yellow line. We had some index pages show up in Ahrefs from the 22nd of November. Then the blue line, I talk about doing basic foundation links, so citations and a press release. And you can see those came in from the 26th of November. And then only a short time later, this massive traffic spike, right up from 0 on the 11th of December, literally overnight, to then 74 on the 12th of December. If we look at the individual keywords, you can see what that actually looks like. So a gradual increase in ranking keywords over time, but nothing in the top 20, still nothing in the top 20, and that's right up until the 10th of December. And then suddenly if I go to the 12th of December, you can see right there, we have a keyword in the top 3. And what you generally find using this method of using an exact match domain, whatever keyword you put in that exact match domain, so keyword.com, that tends to be the one you rank for. So it's a really effective way of sniping a particular keyword. So in my case, I registered 15 domains, and the point was you want to do the basics and then monitor over time. This has been my strategy for over a year now, because the fact is we're all starting projects, buying domains all over the place, and a lot of time you come back to it 6 months, a year later, and you haven't done anything with it. Whereas the fact is, if you just put a basic homepage on there and done some foundation links, you'd have started that clock ticking. Age is a massive ranking factor with Google. And so the fact is you could then come back in 6 months, 12 months time and had some valid websites with traffic. But crucially, you would have worked out which websites are really performing with nothing and which ones are not so responsive and therefore probably not worth investing in. So the way I monitor this is with Ahrefs batch analysis. So I literally have a spreadsheet full of all my domains, paste them into a batch analysis every couple of days, and then just monitor what's going on. So the current example is here, 55 ranking keywords, which is delivering us 84 traffic. There's always a bit of a data discrepancy between the Ahrefs overview and batch analysis, but we've just got to work with that. Doesn't matter if you compare like with like. And we can see all these websites were launched in just the last couple of weeks as I've been doing this course. You can see still plenty of duds that aren't ranking for any keywords at all, and that's fine, that's not a problem. But if we come up here, we've got some that are doing really well. So in this case, this website is only ranking for 8 keywords and yet is getting 6 visitors a month. Now, of course, that's nothing impressive, but what that tells us is of those 8 keywords, we are ranking high. We're within the top 20, most likely. If you're ranking for 8 keywords, but right down at page 4, then you wouldn't be getting this indication of traffic here. So what this tells us is straight out of the gate, this website has started ranking pretty high up. So as you can see, these just little flashes of traffic just tell us that these particular domains Google really likes. And therefore they're much more likely to be successful in the long run. This one only ranks for 3 keywords and yet is getting 2 visitors per month. So you can see that ratio of ranking keywords to traffic is only a metric. We're not talking about real visitors here. I'm just talking about using the Ahrefs metrics to indicate how well a website is actually ranking, how visible it is straight after it's been registered, and some basic foundations done. Now, obviously, I know everyone always wants more proof. Unfortunately, there's only so far I can go on YouTube, because that's a great way to get tanked by Google or hacked, all sorts of other issues that can come along from publicly revealing a site. But I do reveal this case study, the full process, in the course and in my private mastermind. So if you are desperate to go further, then make sure you get on the list for when we open up those again. But hopefully this overview should be some pretty good proof for you. We've got all these keywords that are attorney, lawyer, accident. They all have decent volume, 400, 150, 150. They all have CPC. I'm pretty sure the CPC was much higher when I actually registered the domains. but still it's a CPC. I'm not going after these keywords that aren't worth anything. And you can very clearly see that distribution of rankings that I was talking about. The keyword that you make the .com, that you make the domain name, you get this big sort of sniper effect where you just leap up to page 1. So that's at number 3 for 400 volume search. And then the rest around page 3. So around position 30, which might not sound like much, but remember, this domain is only 3 weeks old. So to get that kind of result with very little effort so far is actually a really good result. And it's very likely that over the next few weeks and months, a lot of these will start rising up to page 2 and then page 1, especially now that we've got some traffic and hopefully leads coming through here. We'll be able to reinvest that into actually growing the website and therefore getting more backlinks, more power, in order to really push all these other keywords to the top. Now, I will admit, while I was following the foundations of basic homepage, exact match domain, citations, press release, there was a slight additional factor here, which I'm going to talk about very tentatively. So you probably see on my channel, I've been talking about SEO Neo. I know loads of you have been fighting it out in the comments saying that's a black hat tool, it's an old 10-year-old tool, that can't possibly work. And to an extent, I agree with you, but that's why I'm testing it. I've heard very good things about it, and I can't come to my own conclusions until I've tested it myself. So over the last week or two, I built 200,000 backlinks. These are all tiered backlinks to my foundation links. So the particular campaign I'm using is building 100 backlinks to each of my citations. So I've got 100 citations here. Each one of them is one of these campaigns, and each of these campaigns is building 100 backlinks to each of those citations. So it does take a while, and despite the amount of time I've been running it, we're still only up to 79, so I've still got another 21 citations to build 100 backlinks to. Now, in my last video, I talked about a couple of frustrations. Firstly, with time, that once I'd loaded up 4 or 5 campaigns in there, it was very slow. And also the expense. I was using capture breakers in order to get a lot of these articles published, and that cost was really adding up. I probably spent more than $200 on capture breakers in the last week. That was while I was running 4 separate campaigns. Now, I have been advised of a more automated software-based solution that might be cheaper, but in the meantime, I've just let my account run out of balance and I couldn't be bothered to top it up for the capture breaker API. And actually, my campaigns have continued with what appears to be a pretty good success rate. So I really need to compare side by side, but I need to find out what the actual drop-off is from using capture breakers versus not using capture breakers, because really I'm not noticing a huge difference. Maybe I've lost 20 or 30% of my potential links. But the point I wanted to make here is, yes, there are these various issues with running too many campaigns at once on SEO Neo. And so about a week ago, I switched off all the campaigns apart from one. And actually, that one campaign that I left running was this particular case study. And then a few days later, this keyword jumped up to position 3. Now, that's not scientific by any means. Correlation does not equal causation, especially when it's just a one-off. But it is a very exciting sign. So if I can repeat that a few times, then obviously I'm convinced by SEO Neo. For now, I need to do more testing, but this very early indication is pretty exciting. Would this have happened without building all those links to my citations, to my tips? Who's to know? So maybe this is actually working really well in the background. And don't forget, we're only using SEO Neo to build backlinks to my backlinks. None of these dodgy links actually touch my true website. So although it's not perfect, there is a big degree of safety there. So if you want to follow along with my SEO Neo testing and also receive free training on how to set it up correctly, then click the link below. I've been going back and forth with the founder Elias for weeks saying, how does this work? I've got this wrong. What should I do about this? And from that, I'm putting together the ultimate SEO Neo blueprint that's truly understandable for you, my audience. So many of these tools have got so much potential, so much power, but you just get blinded by the technicals and you don't really know the significance of each individual aspect. So I'm really working to strip it all down. What's the simple SOP, the simple step-by-step process that you can easily implement to get the best results from SEO Neo? And in the meantime, I'll keep you informed of all my case studies to work out what the actual ROI is of using SEO Neo. Obviously, it's $150 a month for the tool. Then you've got the VPS, Omega, the proxies. So those costs do kind of add up. So I really want to work out, is there a measurable uplift in terms of your rankings by using SEO Neo in this way? So click the link below, get on the list, and you'll receive all my latest updates from SEO Neo. And of course, being a bit of a shady tool, I can't really talk about all of these publicly. So we'll be able to go into much more detail on that private list. Now, what about the one-page websites course? Well, it's been hugely popular over our launch and it sold out within a few days. And already I've had great feedback with people coming back to me saying, I bought your course 3 days ago. Look at this screenshot. I'm on page 1 for this high ticket service. So it really does work. Great feedback. There's loads of additional updates I'm now making to the course, particularly on the automation side using make.com. How can you make handling and dealing with these leads much more seamless, much more easy, so that when you forward that call to the contractor, you're only using a $1 Twilio number, but then how does that get logged? How does it get recorded? And how do you notify the contractor that you sent this lead? So that everything is transparent throughout the whole process, hands-free. So the course is now closed, but I expect we probably will release it again once I've made all these additional updates. Loads of people have been complaining that they missed out last time, so make sure you sign up on the list here and you'll be notified as soon as it goes live.